and welcome back to the most amazing channel on the internet. I'm your host Rebecca Felgate, and I am back talking about the top 10 scary secrets hidden in time part 2. Now you guys loved part 1 so much that part 2 is on. You guys want to know those secrets and I'm giving them to you. Now some of the secrets on this list are hidden in places that we know to look. For others, their location in space and time is a mystery. Ooh, I love a good mystery, and I know that you guys do too. Now before we get into this video, I want to ask you guys what you think the greatest unsolved mystery of all time is. Let's get some unsolved chat going on. While you're down there, why don't you like this video and share it with a friend, and check out the links to our most amazing Instagram in the description box. Do stick around to the end of the video, I'm going to be replying to some comments. Coming into number 10, we have the antidote. Now nobody wants to be poisoned, but it seems that Mithridates VI, king of Pontus between 120 and 63 BC, was super paranoid about it for his entire life. The king spent 7 years adapting his body and testing his responses to assorted deadly poisons. Rather him than me, but it seems he actually did find something pretty incredible. After 7 years of study, he concocted a potion of 54 ingredients, and that was said to be a universal antidote. The concoction is referred to in history as theriac and was widely adopted along the Silk Road. This also included ancient China and India. Sadly, over time, while the antidote is mentioned in early history, the recipe for this magical medicine has been lost. Perhaps one day we will come across it written down, but until then, it is lost in time. Coming into number 9, we have City Hall subway in New York. Hidden away at the end of the 6th train line is an abandoned Manhattan subway station, City Hall. I don't know about you, but I'd love me an abandoned station. The station was part of the Interborough Rapid Transit Company and was built in 1904. Now it seems that the Brooklyn Bridge was far more popular a stop, so City Hall was decommissioned. But you can still reach this hidden secret if you have the time to stay on train 6 as it loops. Be warned though, the station is said to be haunted. Atlas Obscura advises its readers on how to access the secret station. They advise that if you stay on the downtown 6 train after it leaves Brooklyn Station, it's best to be in the 7th, 8th or 9th car, as the train operates very slowly around the curve in front of the City Hall station. Ooh, I like a mystery secret hidden station. I really do. While we're on the topic of trains, I really want to talk about an urban legend that, if true, has left some pretty awesome artifacts for future generations. Coming into number 8, we have the Crossrail boring machines. So, Crossrail. The Crossrail project started in 2009 and is still going. Officially named the Elizabeth Line, Crossrail is a new network of underground trains in the UK. Now they cross from London to Berkshire to Buckingham and across Essex. The project is set to have generated a bill of around £17 billion, so building these tunnels is pretty expensive and quite the feat. Supermassive boring machines are used to bore the networks in the ground. The urban legend goes that rather than actually removing these costly machines when they reach the end of their lifespan, which they do quite quickly after getting a battering from soil in the face, now instead of a costly retrieval process, they are instead bored down into the earth until they can bore no more. It is said that they're then covered over with cement, basically meaning that there are big, massive machine fossils 50 meters below the earth. Now, I don't know if it's true, but if it is, that's pretty exciting, right? Imagine being from a future generation and uncovering these, being like, what was going on? Next up, we have a secret hidden in time and space. We have Opportunity, the Mars rover, coming into number 7. R.I.P. Opportunity, I miss you, although I never met you, but I know I loved you. Opportunity made its last contact with NASA in June 2018 and was officially declared dead, for want of a better word, on February the 13th, 2019. Opportunity's last message seems to suggest that the rover had fallen over, or perhaps even fallen foul of a Martian storm. Opportunity roved Mars for nearly a decade and a half, unlocking the secrets to Mars and sending back data to NASA. Opportunity discovered that Mars had an ancient water that flowed 4 billion years ago. Now it's thought that the NASA will try and retrieve Opportunity as and when they're able to send a manned mission to Mars, but until then, some of the rover's last known and well-kept secrets lay trapped in its body, somewhere on the surface of the red planet. Coming into number 6, we have the lost jewels of Bad King John. Beware the Wash, an estuary in the northwest corner of my home county in the UK, East Anglia. Shout out East Anglia. Hello. Locals will tell you that when the tide rises, the North Sea floods the land 6 kilometers away, rising faster than a human can run. Now, in the full and new moons, this body of water flows even quicker. They say as fast as a galloping horse. God love the moon! Moon power. Back in the vintage year of 1216, King John was taken ill in Bishop's Lynn in Norfolk, now King's Lynn. It seems that it was decided that he would go back home, and he did so, pursued by his enemies. It seems that his cavalcade tried to cross the Wash, although the tides rose and his wagons were swept away, including his jewels. Now the area is notorious for having quicksand, so they were probably sucked down into the murky depths. These jewels would be worth millions of pounds today, and treasure hunters have spent the past 800 years trying to find them. If and when they are found one day, I wonder what story they will tell. The bad King John died of his sickness shortly after the loss of his crown jewels. Taking it in a different direction at number 5, lost in time, we have free energy. Jack Finch from Top 5 Scary Videos and I were talking about Nikola Tesla the other day. He's a Serbian-American creator known for his work with electricity. Jack said, and I quote, "He was a lad." I quite agree. It seems though that someone out there was against him. Nikola developed a technology that was able to give people free energy. Can you even imagine? He built the Wondercliff Tower, or the Tesla Tower, in 1901, and he was planning on using it to transmit images across the Atlantic from New York to England using Earth to conduct signals. Now this actually would have been a very sustainable energy source. The long and short of it, he wanted to give people free electricity, but his funding was mysteriously stopped, and his plans mysteriously destroyed. The urban legend is that America was unhappy with the concept of free, seeing their opportunity to capitalize and get people to pay for energy. Is this why his plans went missing? I'm gonna say probably. Coming into number 4, we have the ANTIKYTHERA. The ANTIKYTHERA mechanism. This seems to be an ancient Greek computer that was thought to predict astronomical positions. The mechanism lay hidden in time at the bottom of the ocean for around 2,000 years. This was from around 100 BC to the year 1901, when it was pulled up amongst the retrieved wreckage of a ship. The mechanism contained wheels long before mankind invented them, or actually reinvented them over a millennium later. I'm talking specifically about cogs. The mechanism predates the astronomical clocks of Europe by some 1500 years. There is still a lot of mystery surrounding the mechanism, and we don't absolutely know what it was used for. It goes to show that ancient civilizations had a better grasp of technology than we actually maybe thought they did. What else is down there hidden in the ocean waiting for us to find? Well, maybe time will tell. So, just to prove that time does reveal its hidden secrets, up next we have the identity of Jack the Ripper at number 3. Jack the Ripper was a notorious serial killer in Whitechapel, London in the late 1800s. The unknown assailant killed at least 5 people, all women, in and around Whitechapel. Although, he may have killed more. He's been linked to around 11 deaths. Perhaps the number was even higher than that. Famously, the murder cases were never solved, and the identity of the brutal killer has been a mystery for around 130 years. That was until recently, when DNA stepped in to provide us with a vital missing clue. So, who done it? Well, preserved from time was a scarf belonging to a murder victim. 46-year-old Catherine Eddowes was found dead in 1888, and on her body was a stained silk shawl with blood and semen on it. Sensationally, now the shawl has been scanned for DNA and linked to the living relatives of Aaron Kosaminski, a Polish barber who worked in Whitechapel at the time. Now, he was also once number 1 suspect in the killings, only the London police couldn't pin enough evidence on him to convict him of the crime. Incredible. Honestly, I wonder how many other unsolved murders will eventually be puzzled together using DNA evidence. The answers probably are lying somewhere in time. Coming into number 2, we have the mystery of the Sphinx. If the pyramids weren't mysterious enough, start pondering the Great Sphinx and your mind will be kind of blown. The Sphinx is said to date back to 2494 BC, but Actually, geological studies seem to suggest otherwise. The Sphinx shows signs of weathering patterns, specifically water erosion, that simply didn't occur in any other ancient structures around it. Several notable Egyptologists, including Robert M. Schoch, have said that this suggests that the Sphinx was around in a time before Egypt was a desert, at a time it was a wetland, and possibly even at a time that there were trees. Now, that would have been around 10,000 years ago or more. Scanning the Sphinx has revealed that there are also hidden chambers in the structure, but excavating the great structure has been forbidden. The Sphinx also faces the sun. What does it mean? Interestingly, famous early 20th century clairvoyant Edgar Cayce had a vision in which he saw refugees from the lost city of Atlantis burying their secrets in a hall of records under the Sphinx. Honestly, the mind boggles, and there's something going on with that Sphinx. Finally, coming into number 1, we have habitable planets. Our knowledge and perceptible understanding of the universe has changed over the past 50 or so years. We now have been able to observe dozens of planets in solar systems that we think could have the right conditions to house life. But do they? There are 16 in the conservative habitable zone and 30 in the optimistic habitable zone. Some of the closest are between 4.2 light years away and 15 light years away, which in terms of space-time really isn't that far away from Earth. The thing is though, with our current technology, we can only travel around 24,790 miles per hour with a manned mission, or 36,000 miles for an unmanned rocket. At the moment, it would take us roughly 37,200 years to travel just 1 light year, so for now, planets that could and maybe do hold life are just a little bit too far away in time for us to be able to reach. What secrets they hold though, well, we have to ask ourselves if we're ready for that answer. So that was the top 10 scary secrets hidden in time. What did you think to this list? Don't forget to let me know what you think the greatest unsolved mystery is. Leave all of that in the comment section down below. Before I go, I'm just going to read some comments from one of my most recent videos, the top 10 shocking facts about birth, and I do think birth is pretty shocking. Sam Westminster said, wait, so nerves in a man's genitals are attached to their stomach nerves? You can win a man over by feeding him. Mate, I don't know about a man, like you can win anyone over by feeding them food. Yum. Thank you, I'll take it. Vissel S said, I weighed 2.2 pounds at birth. That's 1 kilogram, no kidding. Oh my goodness, you are a wee baby. Pretty Ginger Witch said, thank goodness for pain relief, and honey, I feel you. Evan Cooley suggested we make the top 10 scary Maryland urban legends. Have we not done it already? I think that we might have, but if we haven't, I'll get on it. So guys, let me know if you want a part 3. I do have more scary mysteries hidden in time, so do let me know. Also, do leave a thumbs up on this video and share it with a friend, and don't forget to let me know what you think the greatest mystery of all time is. I'm all ears and eyes and nose and knees and toes. Good! Thank you guys for watching this video. I'm your host Rebecca Felgate, and I'll see you soon. Bye!